Hey guys, it's Alan again. And I was just thinking about all this stuff, and again about TIs, target individuals. And it's just about what the government always does is they try to keep secrets until everything dies down, and then they can feel safe, everybody's dead, for there to be an element of declassification that they could admit all the crimes that they've done. They want everyone to be gone, die, through B2K and torture and the suicide plan that the government seems to want to put people on. And I honestly do, as weird as it sounds, I kind of agree with the people that say it's an implant. Some of it might be DNA signature, but I know in my own case, I've been on pain medication for, well, I've been in pain for 30 years. I'm not trying to all gripe, but it wasn't until for 20 years on pain medication. I think there's thousands of people with all the people on Oxycontin and pain meds and things like that are going through a similar thing. And I think a lot of this throughout just the United States and the world is that they are doing all this in the last 10 years, especially, um, to cover up the implants so that people, again, can be buried when, and nobody has to admit anything. Their doctors in the big cities and small towns don't have to admit that they helped the government cover up and got a paycheck for some of the stuff that they've done. And they don't want to admit it, whether it's Homeland Security, Patriot Act, whatever they want to call it. They don't want to admit that they ever did something like this to one of their patients or 10 of their patients, for all we know. Um, but when this comes out, and the truth of the matter is, and here's where it does get into real big conspiracy things. I've been this side pain since I was 19. Actually, it started when I was about 13, 14, going to the library, reading apologetics and stuff like that. But it started coming on. But I have a chronic side just right here, and it's a chronic thing. And it's where a lot of the other people claim that they have on x-rays implants. And it takes a lot of the emotion. It's just a chronic thing. It takes just, it sucks a lot of emotion out of a person just constantly having to feel that. Just kind of monotone. Um, but the thing is, and here's where it gets conspiracy and it goes after people like 9/11 Truth or Loose Change. I don't know about the government faking. I don't know if they started this stuff in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s with this, and then used 9/11 and the Patriot Act as a cover to explain all the, using that, in the early 2000s to give legal credence to what they've already been doing for the last 10 or 20 years. I think with the 95 Bill Clinton apology, you just go and assume, well, they admitted it, so maybe they're not going to do it again. Well, we know better. We know they're probably didn't stop doing it at all. They just did that for a cover story and how sorry they were. Obviously, they kept up with the artificial intelligence part of it. And Cheryl Welch's story, if you look that up on the William Shatner show on Sci-Fi, I forget what it's called, the gang stalking of Cheryl Welch, that was happening to her in '88. So um, they're doing all this stuff really in the last 20 years, especially. But ever since the 2011, 2012 White House saying there's more pressure for them to do this quickly. And no matter what, it's very important that us as target individuals that we don't drop this. We hold them responsible, and we don't wait 50 years for them to declass. It's like the lady said at the White House symposium that they shouldn't. We don't have to wait another 70 years for them to declassify and suddenly get a touch of honesty now that everybody's dead and they don't have to answer for anything. It's kind of like the Wall Street bankers in 2008. None of them, none of them went to prison. None of them, and all the people in Washington who slammed the banks and slammed the, but then behind the back, then secretly make the same deals that their predecessors did. It's always the same. Whether a person like it doesn't matter. I won't go into politics, but it's just at that level. There's so much they have to cover up. Um, there needs to be some more transparency about this, but that's another issue. Anyway, for us as TIs, as target individuals, um, thank God for people like Ella Free and Dr. Matt and Meigs and Volk at Kyle. Um, just the people that keep Romola D, the people that keep on putting the pressure, and that try to unite the TIs and don't try to call everybody a fake, because all that's going to do, or the people who encourage people to not look at, they can call it hive mind. But the only thing I know that'll stop it is when people do get together. They can call it hive mind and it's going to do something to destroy the technology. You don't know what you're doing, and just don't listen to that. We're not experts in technology, but um, the fact of the matter is, us getting together is the only way, and putting pressure on them is the only way to bring attention to it. And being out in the public and bringing attention to it. And our internet stuff is great. We got to keep doing that. But I think it's great that they go out in public and do these protests so that everybody can see it and then go home and look it up. So I think good for them. And I think a lot of us in TI world know if we were to ever win a lottery or lawsuits or something through something, we would like to help and expose this insidious evil that you normally think is done from other countries or terrorist countries, and you don't think it's going to be the United States of America, but you literally, instead of doing it to criminals like they used to do, which is still horrible, they shouldn't do it to criminals either, violent people, or they just shouldn't. But a lot of times they do it to people who are quiet, who are nice, who have never done anything to hurt anybody because they think they won't get any fight back or a blowback. And it's it's one of those things we need to become our own little inner asshole and bring it out without getting angry, and that's the hard part because we can get angry, but we got to be smart. It's like I think Richard King was talking about it, and it's like you got to be smart about it. And if if we can get proof, whether it be actual X-rays or get them, whether they, hopefully they'll have some kind of X-rays that we can actually. Whenever I try to put mine in the CD things, they try to block the CD from actually playing. I've tried it on 3 CDs now, and whenever I put a disc in, then they block it, the Xbox and all that. So anyway, stay strong and put the pressure on them, and make them feel like crap. Make them real, let people know. And if they try that crap about it being a psychological, just talk. Don't let it bother you. Just matter of factly, this is not voices. This is B2K technology. They'll look it up. They'll look up the White House symposium on targeted individuals, and it's like, oh yeah, you're not being kooky. This is happening to thousands of other people, and the same thing with signs B2K, and it's like this is happening all over the world. It's not a fluke. So it'll put the pressure on them. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay.